Malala Yousafzai, born 12 July 1979, is a Pakistani female education activist, film and television producer, and the 2014 Nobel Peace Prize laureate. At the age of 17, she is the youngest Nobel Prize laureate in history, the second Pakistani and the only Pashtun to receive a Nobel Prize. Yousafzai is a human rights advocate for the education of women and children in her native homeland, Swat, where the Pakistani Taliban had at times banned girls from attending school. Her advocacy has grown into an international movement, and according to former Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi, she has become Pakistan's most prominent citizen. The daughter of education activist Ziauddin Yousafzai, she was born to a Yousafzai Pashtun family in Swat and was named after the Afghanistan folk heroine Malala of My Wand. Considering Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Barack Obama, and Benazir Bhutto as her role models, she was also inspired by her father's thought and humanitarian work. In early 2009, when she was 11, she wrote a blog under her pseudonym Gal Makai for the BBC Urdu to detail her life during the Taliban occupation of Swat. The following summer, journalist Adam B. Iliak made a New York Times documentary about her life as the Pakistan Armed Force launched Operation Rust against the militant in Swat. In 2011, she received Pakistan's first National Youth Peace Prize. She interned from the Swat Relief Initiative, a foundation founded by Jebunisa Jilani, a princess of the royal house of Swat, which support schools and clinics. She rose in prominence, giving interviews in print and on television, and was nominated for the International Children's Peace Prize by activist Desmond Tutu on 9 October 2012 while on a bus in Swat district after taking an exam. Yousafzai and two other girls were shot by a Taliban gunman in an assassination attempt targeting her for her activism. The gunman fled the scene. She was struck in the head by a bullet and renamed unconscious and in critical condition at the Royal Pindi Institute of Cardiology, but her condition later improved enough for her to be transferred to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Birmingham, UK. The attempt on her life sparked an international outpouring of support. Deutsche Welle reported in January 2013 that she may have become the most famous teenager in the world. Week after the attempted murder, a group of 15 leading Muslim clerics in Pakistan issued a fatwa against those who tried to kill her. Government, human rights organization, and feminist group subsequently condemned the Tehreek-i-Taliban Pakistan. In response, the Taliban further denounced Yousafzai, indicating plotting planned for a possible second assassination attempt, which the Taliban felt was justified as a religious obligation. This sparked another international outcry. After her recovery, Yousafzai became a more prominent activist for the right to education. Based in Birmingham, she co-founded the Malala Fund, a non-profit organization with Shiza Shahid in 2013. She co-authored I Am Malala, an international bestseller. In 2013, she received the Sakharov Prize, and in 2014 she was the co-recipient of the 2014 Nobel Peace Prize with Kailash Satyarthi of India, age 17. At the time, she was the youngest ever Nobel Prize laureate. In 2015, she was the subject of the Oscar shortlisted documentary He Named Me Malala. The 2013, 14 and 15 issue of the Time magazine featured her as one of the most influential people globally. In 2017, she was awarded honorary candidate citizenship and became the youngest person to address the House of Commons of Canada. Yousafzai completed her secondary school education at Edgbaston High School, Birmingham in England from 2013 to 17. From there, she won a place at Lady Margaret Hall, Oxford, and undertook 3 years of study for a Bachelor of Arts degree in Philosophy, Politics, and Economics (PPE). Graduating in 2020, she returned in 2023 to become the youngest ever honorary fellow at Lincoln College, Oxford. Yousafzai was born on 12 July 1997 in the Swat district of Pakistan, northwestern Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, into a lower middle class family. She is the daughter of Jaiuddin Yousafzai and Tur Pikai Yousafzai. Her family is Sunni Muslim of Pashtun ethnicity, belonging to the Yousafzai tribe. The family did not have enough money for a hospital burden. Yousafzai was born at home with the help of neighbors. She was given her first name Malala, meaning grief-stricken, after Malala of Maiwand, a famous Pashtun poet and warrior woman from southern Afghanistan. At her house in Mangora, she lived with her two younger brothers, Kaushal and Atal, her parents Jaiuddin and Tur Pikai, and two children fluent in Pashto, Urdu, and English. Yousafzai was educated mostly by her father, Jaiuddin Yousafzai, a poet, school owner, and an educational activist himself, running a chain of private schools known as the Kaushal Public School. In an interview, she once said that she aspired to become a doctor, thought later her father encouraged her to become a politician instead. Jaiuddin referred to his daughter as something entirely special, allowing her to stay up at night and take about politics after her two brothers had been sent to bed. Inspired by her, the twice elected assassinated Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto, Yousafzai started speaking about education right as early as September 2008, when her father took her to Peshawar to speak at the local press club. How dare the Taliban take away my basic right to education? She asks in a speech covered by newspaper and television channel throughout the region. In 2009, she began as a trainee and was then a peer educator in the Institute for Wire and Pace Reporting's Open Mind Pakistan Youth Program, which worked in the religion school to help students engage in constructive discussion on social issues, thought, journalism, public debate, and dialogue. In late 2008, Amir Ahmed Khan of the BBC Urdu website and his colleagues came up with a novel way of converting the Pakistani Taliban group influence in Swat. They decided to ask a schoolgirl to blog and Tomonosi about her life there. Their correspondent in Peshawar, Abdul Hai Kakar, had been in touch with a local school teacher, Jaiuddin Yousafzai, but could not find any student willing to report as their families considered it too dangerous. Finally, Yousafzai suggested his own daughter, 11 years old Malala. At the time, Pakistani Taliban militant led by Maulana Fazlullah were taking over the Swat Valley, banning television, music, girls' education, and women from going shopping. Borders of beheaded policemen were being displayed in town square. At first, a girl named Aisha from her father's school agreed to write a diary, but her parents stopped her from doing it because they feared Taliban resell. The only alternative was Yousafzai, who was 4 years younger and in 7th grade at the time. We had been covering the violence and politics in Swat in details, but we didn't know much about how ordinary people lived under the Taliban, said Mirza Wahed, former educator of BBC Urdu, because they were concerned for Yousafzai's safety. The BBC educator stated the US of Donim. Her blog was published under the byline Gal Makai, a name taken from a character in a Pashtun folklore. On 3 January 2009, her first entry was posted to the BBC Urdu blog. She hand wrote note and passed them to a reporter who scanned and emailed them. The blog recorded Yousafzai's thought during the first battle of Swat as military operation took place. Favor girl show up to school and finally her school shut down. That day, she wrote, I had a terrible dream. Yesterday with military, helicopter and the Taliban. I have and such dreams since the launch of the military operation in Swat. My mother made me breakfast and I went off to school. I was afraid going to school because the Taliban had issued an edict banning all girls from attending school. Only 11 out of 27 people attending the class because the number decreased because of the Pakistani Taliban edict. My 3 friends have shifted to Peshawar, Lahore, and Rawalpindi with their families after this edict. In Swat, the Pakistan Taliban had set an edict that no girls could attend school after 15 January 2009. They had already blown up more than 100 girls' schools. The night before the ban took effect was filled with the noise of artillery fire, waking Yousafzai several times. The following day, she was read for the first time. Experts from her blog that were published in a local newspaper. Banned school following the edict, the Pakistani Taliban destroyed several more local schools. On 24 January 2009, Yousafzai wrote, "Our annual exams are due after the vacation, but this will only be possible if the Pakistani Taliban allow girls to go to a school. We were told to prepare certain chapters for the exam, but I do not feel like studying. It seems that it is only when dozens of schools have been destroyed and hundreds others closed down that the army think about protecting them. Had they conducted their operation here properly, the situation would not have assigned." Malala Yousafzai, 24 January 2009. BBC block entry. In February 2009, girls' schools were still closed. In solidarity, private schools for boys had decided not to open until 9 February, and notice appeared saying so. On 7 February, Yousafzai and her brother returned to their hometown of Mingora, where the streets were deserted and there was an Eric silence. She wrote in her blog, "We went to the supermarket to buy a gift for our mother, but it was closed. Whereas earlier it used to remain open till late. Many other shops were also closed. Their home had been robbed and their television was stolen." After boys' school reopened, the Pakistani Taliban lifted restriction on girl primary education, where there was co-education. Girl-only schools were still closed. Yousafzai wrote that only 17 people attended out of the 700 who were enrolled. On 15 February, gunshots were heard in Mangora Street, but Yousafzai's father reassured her, saying, "Don't be scared, this is fearing for peace." Her father had read in the newspaper that the government and militant were going to sign a peace deal the next day. Later that night, when the Taliban announced the peace deal on their FM radio stations, another round of stronger firing started outside. Yousafzai spoke out against the Pakistani Taliban on the National Current Affairs show Capital Talk on 18 February. 3 days later, Tariq-e-Nafis e Shariat-e-Muhammadi leader Maulana Fazlullah announced on his FM radio station that he was lifting the ban on women education and girls would be allowed to attend school until exams were held on 17 March, but they had to wear burqas. On 25 February, Yousafzai wrote on her blog that she and her classmates played a lot in class and enjoyed ourselves like we used to before. Attendance at Yousafzai class was up to 19 to 27 people by 1 March, but the Pakistani Taliban were still active in the area, selling continue and relief goods meant for displaced people were looted. Only 2 days later, Yousafzai wrote that there was a skirmish between the military and Taliban, and the sound of mortar shells could be heard. People are again scared that the peace may not last for long. Some people are saying that the peace agreement is not permanent, it is just a break in fighting. On 9 March, Yousafzai wrote about a science paper that she performed will won and added that the Taliban were no longer searching bicycle as they once did. Her blog ended on 12 March 2009. After the BBC diary ended, Yousafzai and her father were approached by New York Times reporter Adam B. Illich about filming a documentary. In May, the Pakistani army moved into the region to rename control during the Second Battle of Swat, also known as Operating Rest. Mingora was evacuated and Yousafzai family was displaced and separated. Her father went to Peshawar to protest and lobby for support while she was sent into the countryside to live with relatives. I am really worried because I have no books to read, she is filmed saying in the documentary. That month, after criticized militant at a press conference, Yousafzai's father received a death threat over the radio by a Pakistani Taliban commander. Yousafzai was deeply inspired in her activism by her father that summer. For the first time, she committed to becoming a politician and not a doctor as she had once aspiration to be. I have a new dream. I must be a politician to save this country. There are so many crises in our country. I want to remove those crises. Malala Yousafzai class dismissed documentary by early July. Refuse camp were filled to capacity. The Prime Minister made a long-awaited announcement saying it was safe to return to the Swat Valley. The Pakistani military had pushed the Taliban out of the cities and into the countryside. Yousafzai family reunited and on 24 July 2009, they headed home. They made one stop first to meet with a group of other grassroots activists that had been invited to see United States President Barack Obama, a special representation to Afghanistan and Pakistan, Richard Holbrooke. Yousafzai pledged with Holbrooke to intervene in the situation, saying, "Respected Ambassador, if you can help us in our education, so please help us." When her family finally returned home, they found it had not been damaged and her school had sustained only light damage. Following the documentary, Yousafzai was interviewed on the National Pashto language station ABT Khyber, the Urdu language Daily Awaaz, and Canadians Toronto star. She made a second appearance on Capital Talk on 19 August 2009. Her BBC blogging identity was being rebellied in article by December 2009. She also began appearing on television to publicly advocate for female education. From 2009 to 2010, she was the chair of the District Child Embassy of the Kapal Kaur Foundation. In 2011, Yousafzai trained with a local girl empowerment organization, Our Girls, run by Galalai Islam, whose training include advice on women rights and empowerment to peacefully opposite radicalization through education. In October 2011, Desmond Tutu, a South African activist, nominated Yousafzai for the International Children Peace Prize of the Dutch International Children Advocacy Group. Kid Rights Foundation. She was the first Pakistani girl to be nominated for the award. The announcement said Malala dared to stand up for himself and other girls and use national and international media to let the world know girls should also have the right to go to school. The award was won by Michaela Mycroft of South Africa. Yousafzai public profile rose even further when she was awarded Pakistan's first National Youth Peace Prize 2 months later in December 19 December 2011. Prime Minister Yusuf Reza Gilani awarded her the National Peace Award for Youth at the ceremony. She stated she was not a member of any political party but hoped to found a national party of her own to promote education. The Prime Minister directed the authorities to set up an IT campus in the Swat Degree College for Women at Yousafzai request, and a secondary school was renamed in her honor. By 2012, she was planned to organize a Malala Education Foundation, which would help poor girls to go to school. In 2012, she attended the International Marxist Tendency National Marxist Summer School. In a television interview the same year, she named Barack Obama, Benjamin Bhutto, and Abdul Ghaffar Khan, a Pashtun leader known for her non-violent Khud Magar resistance movement against the British Raj, as inspiration for her activities. As Malala become more recognized, the danger facing her increased. The threat against her were published in newspaper and slipped under her door. On Facebook, she was an active user. She began to receive threats. Eventually, a Pakistani Taliban spokesman said they were forced to act. In a meeting held in the summer of 2012, Taliban leader unannounceably agreed to kill her. I think of it often and imagine the scene clearly. Even if they come to kill me, I will tell them what they are trying to do is wrong. That education is our basic right. Malala Yousafzai envisioning a confrontation with the Taliban. On 9 October 2012, a Taliban gunman shot Yousafzai as the road home on a bus after taking an exam in Pakistan's Swat Valley. Yousafzai was 15 years old at the time. According to report, a masked gunman shooted. Who is one of you? Is Malala? Speak up. Otherwise, I will shoot you all. Upon being identified, Yousafzai was shot with one bullet, which traveled 18-inch 46 cm from the side of her left eye, through her neck, and landed in her shoulder. Two other girls were also wounded in the shooting, Kainat Reyes and Shazia Ramzan, both of whom were stable enough following the shooting to speak to report and provide details of the attack. After the shooting, Yousafzai was airlifted to a military hospital in Peshawar, where doctors were focused to operate after swelling developed in the left portion of her brain, which had been damaged by the bullet when it passed through her head. After a 5-hour operation, doctors successfully removed the bullet, which had lodged in her shoulder near her spinal cord. The day following the attack, doctor performed a decompressive cranectomy, in which part of her skull was removed to allow room for swelling. On 11 October 2012, a panel of Pakistani and British doctors decided to move Yousafzai to the Armed Forces Institute of Cardiology in Rawalpindi. Thanks for watching this video.